Hello and welcome to our Lampworking channel. In this video we're going to be making this cool spiral marble with a clear core. So let's jump in and get started. First I'd like to give the shout to Seth Barris, who sent me this picture of his marble he made from our easy spiral marble tutorial. Thanks so much, Seth, for sending us a picture. The marble came out pretty cool, and we're going to actually be making another marble today. This video is sped up a little bit, so this way you don't have to watch me doing the same thing for like 20 minutes. What I did was I encased some color rods in a layer of clear, and what I'm doing now is just assembling those colored rods that are wrapped in clear together. So I'm getting some nice juicy heat in there. I already touched two of them together, and now we're just going to rotate in the flame and make sure they get a nice good amount of heat before we go in. And I'm actually going to use three rods to make this marble. You could use as many as you want or as few as you want. It's up to you. Here's number 3 coming in now. Just make sure you get enough heat in there to make sure that you have a good connection between the first 2 pieces before attaching your third one on. And just get, warm it up. And with these connections, you want to be careful that you don't have any air when you make the attachment. So I do have like a extra amount of clear on the that white rod that I just attached now. This way it closes up any gaps. And we're going to go ahead and condense this anyway. So just go ahead, and right now everything is off center. My punties are off center, and that's okay. You're just getting everything connected and heated up, and it's okay if things aren't on center in the beginning. We're going to go ahead and attach some new punties that will be on center. What I'm doing right now is I'm making sure these 3 chunks are about the same size. You want everything to be about the same size. So I'm just putting some nice juicy heat in there, rolling it on the marber to start rounding that off. And right now it looks like it's not going to round out, but over time with enough heating and melting, this will round into one nice cylinder. And that's pretty much the goal of what we're doing. I'm also going to adjust the sizes of those 3 chunks to get them to be, again, about the same size, using my marver, my L marver, and my paddle to smush it all together. And again, start getting that round shape. And what we're ultimately going to be doing with this is we're going to be putting some twists in it, because we all love twisty marbles. So we're going to twist this up once we get everything fused together and lined up and sized up. Right now I have everything even on one side, so I'm going to go ahead and attach a 20 millimeter punty. And I'm going to just get that end nice and hot. And when the glass starts to move, I'm going to go and roll it on my L marver to make it into a little point and get it back on center, because it was a little bit off before I started. And also I just made a Maria there on the end, just a little one, doesn't have to be huge. This way it has a little bit more surface area when I make that hot seal to those rods. And just make sure you get this is where you want to get everything centered up. So just centering that up. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the right hand side, which is get everything to be even and the same length. And just go ahead and heat up the ends of your rods and get them nice and juicy hot. And you could peel off with tweezers, you could peel off with another rod. It's really whatever tool you prefer to use. I like to use my tweezers to peel off extra glass. And just remember that some is going to melt back down. So when you pull it off, you're always going to have a bleb at the end. And usually I just melt them back down into the piece. So, and you can see I just flatten that with my paddle and my L marver to get all those ends nice and even. And just keep rotating it in the fire. I'm using my my GTT outer burner for this, because it's a large amount of glass, so it's going to take a lot of heat. Using the inner fire would take forever, because this, again, it's super thick. It's probably over an inch of glass that I have going right now. So it's good to use that that outer flame. And then just roll it on the marver. Again, it's still very rough in shape. It still looks like a triangle. And that's okay. Just keep heating it and marvering it and heating it and marvering it, and it will eventually round out. I did leave timestamps in the description below, so if you do want to jump ahead, feel free to go ahead and do that. If you just like watching the hot glass melt down, and it is pretty soothing in my opinion. And if you enjoy that, then by all means stick with me here. You're going to see me melt it and round it all the way down. So just sit back, relax, make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, then please do that as well. Greatly appreciate it. And I did forget to say welcome to everyone in the beginning of this video. So if it is your first time here, then welcome to the Fusing Shop and welcome to our Lampworking glass blowing channel. This channel is mostly geared towards beginners, and we do just a lot of basic lampworking techniques on this channel. And also we do occasional dad jokes. So I have one here for everyone, and it's what would you do if a bull charged you? And the answer is pay whatever it charged. Also, I heard another one that was pretty funny. It's which American president was the least guilty? Abraham Lincoln, because he was innocent. Because he's on the penny, so innocent. Anyway, back to the project here. Getting some really nice heat in here. You can see how this is glowing super hot right now. And everything is melting down. I really like this camera angle because you could still see the colored rods in there. And right now, again, you want to just keep everything straight. You do not want to add any twist to the glass yet, because we're going to be twisting up later once we get everything nice and melted down. And it's almost down. It's almost rounded out now. You can see how it went from like that little triangular 3 blobs into like this nice round shape. Cylinder, round, whatever you want to call it. So we are making good progress here. And again, with glass, you just have to take your time with things. This probably, and that's what it looks like. You can see the clear core there with the color around it. And like I was saying before, with glass, you just have to be patient because things will work. And you just have to keep trying. And you know, now I'm adding some twist to the glass, which I just heated up the middle. And just give this, I don't like to twist it up too much. If you are making cane with this, which you can do, you could add like, you could really tighten up those twists and go crazy with it. But for me, I wanted you so those twists to be very obvious in the marble we are making. So I did not twist it up super tight. It's just a couple loose twists. And now I'm flame cutting off the 2. And you can make 2 or 3 marbles with it, depending on how big or small you're going to make yours. I made a smasher size marble, so I'm only going to make 2. And now you can see the video is back to regular speed now, and that's what the 3 pieces look like after we melted it all together. And now we're just going to go ahead and shape it into a marble. So if you have joined me for my other marble videos, then you already know what's going to happen. And if you have not, I'll just give you a quick description on the general basics of forming a marble. And that is to make a gather. So we already have kind of a gather already going here. And I'm just going to heat up the tip of the glass, keep just the tip of the glass in the flame, and have a nice smooth rotation, and that glass will start to ball up and gather up on the end. And when it gets round and you get it the size that you want, then you're going to go ahead and put it into your marble mold, which you could see on the bottom there. It's kind of to the bottom of my V blade. And usually when you make a gather, you go with the elbows down position, which right now I'm going with a neutral position, which is where the glass is parallel to the work surface. And this is just a great shot of you seeing how that glass is parallel. And just giving it some nice smooth rotations. What I'm holding in my right hand is a rod holder, and because when I took this glass out of the kiln, that punty was a little bit too hot for me to hold, so I just attached a rod holder on the end, and that gave me the extra protection I needed so I didn't get any burns. Eventually that glass will cool down. It's only because it was in the kiln that it got so hot. And I do prefer to use shorter punties when I work, and that is a matter of preference. You have to find out what feels good in your hand and what you can balance and control. So that comes with just, experimenting and trying different things. Some people put like counterweights at the end of their punties and they use longer ones. So again, it's really your personal preference. And there's also just a whole bunch of schools of thought on even how to hold the punty in your hand. So yeah, I just, try to have a comfortable grip and roll it. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here. Back to the marble. Right now I have that end nice and round and glowing hot. And now I'm just going to start rounding it off in the marble mold. And when you go in the mold, wait a couple seconds before you put it in. You don't want to put it in right out of the flame, because then your marble will get all deformed, and you don't want that because it takes too much time getting it round to begin with. So just wait a couple seconds, be patient, and then gently put it in the mold. Rotate as you put it in the mold, and also rotate either your rod or your mold to at least 90 degrees. This way you get all angles and all sides of the sphere. And right now I'm slowing down my rotation. You don't have to rotate like a maniac here. You could, slow rotations work too, depending on what you're trying to do. And just go ahead and gently roll that in the mold. And you want to use a mold size that is smaller than the marble you are making. So always keep that in mind when you're doing marbles. You want to use a mold size that is smaller. You don't want to mash the glass in the mold. You just want to kind of let it ride on the rim. Right now I'm attaching a cold seal punty, because I'm going to detach and round off the other end. And now my other punty is cool enough that I can grab it with my hand again. And we're going to do a flame cut on the right side of the marble. And then we're going to do the same exact process of rounding it out. So to flame cut, just keep that flame in one spot. And when the glass starts to move, gently pull your hands apart. And the glass will start to thin out and cut in the flame. You always want to flame cut in the flame to avoid pulling thin stringers, which can be dangerous. And now I'm just using that rod to peel off any extra glass that I want to get rid of. And this is where you can control the size of the marble that you make by peeling off more glass if you want to make it smaller, or leaving more glass if you want to make it bigger. So I'm going with the elbows down position right now, where the glass is angled down towards the workbench. And again, just giving smooth, gentle rotations in the flame. And I'm working in the middle of my flame, where it's not super hot, but it's still pretty hot. There's like 3 working zones in your flame. The tip of the flame, which is you use mostly for preheating. And the middle of the flame is like the working flame, where it's like hot but not super hot. And then there's like near the cones, where that's like the hottest area of the flame. So usually you want to work in the middle. This way it gives you more control over what you're doing. If you're losing control over the glass, then move out of the flame. Either move more towards the tip, or just take your glass out and let it start to stiffen up. Now just rolling in the marble mold. Just, perfecting that sphere shape. Back into the flame to polish off any tool marks. And sometimes you have to roll it in the marble mold multiple times. So it doesn't have to be perfect the first shot. Take your time, be gentle, be patient, and just roll it in the mold, rotate that mold, or again your rod, depending on your preference. My GoPro actually died, so you cannot see what that looks like, and that is why I have not shifted the angles. Unfortunately, the GoPro does not have a super long battery life, and I have to take it out of the holder every time I want to change the battery. And I can't plug it in to like an outlet, so it's you know, I know that's like the purpose of having a GoPro is because it's portable, but for my purposes, it didn't work for this video. So it'll work for the beginning, but not for the second half. Anyway, whatchamacallit, back to the project. I'm getting another punty ready to punty up to the other side. Sometimes when you make a marble, one side, when you round off the first side and then you work on the second side, the first side is not, it kind of like loses its shape a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and put on another punty and work on that other side just a little bit more. It was pretty close to round already, but I just wanted to get it a little bit better before putting in the kiln. Again, since you put a lot of work into your project, you want to make sure you do it the best as you can before you go ahead and anneal it. So now I'm just doing a little bit more rounding on that first side, making sure I get the right size mold, and just gently rolling it in there. And go back into the flame and reheat. And if you did stick with me through this video, please let me know what your favorite color is, and I'm doing like a raffle for this marble, and I'll be happy to send it to you. Please leave your favorite color in the comments, and I'm going to choose someone to send this marble to. So, and this is just like my little thanks for saying thank you for sticking through 16 minutes of watching me do this. So I appreciate you guys and all your support and your comments and everything. And again, like I showed the photo in the beginning, you know, by all means, send me pictures of stuff you guys are working on. That is what the final marble looks like. And again, you saw it in the beginning of the video as well. Now we just pop off that cold seal, just tap it, give it a tap with a rod or the tweezers or whatever. Give it a fire polish in the flame, and you are good to go. You know, put this in your kiln, anneal it, and make sure everything looks good before you pop it in there. You want to make sure that it's rounded off and everything is smooth, and there's no extra glass left from the punties before you put it in the kiln. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.